Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Mark here. I'm excited to go over this information with you. I decided to take an online lesson with James Robinson. For those of you who don't know him, he is a PGA professional over in Great Britain. He's also got a very prominent YouTube channel. He's putting out daily content about club reviews, and he's given daily lessons and swing tips. It's nice that he does that every day because quite honestly, I get kind of bored of the golf channel, and it's a nice fill-in for that. So I decided to go with online lessons this time around versus in person. I've had some successful in-person lessons. However, time constraints and scheduling can always be an issue, but online is more at your convenience. Another benefit of the online lesson is you can go back to it. So whether it's 2 days later or 2 months later, 2 years later, you can go back, refresh your memory, and get every single word verbatim to help you get that swing back in shape. Sometimes with in-person lessons, we can get forgetful of a certain thing that was mentioned, and I feel this is going to be beneficial over the long run to my game. I also wanted to get a new set of eyes. I've got a couple coaches that I've worked with in the past, and although they give me great information, a new set of eyes or a new ideal is what I'm looking for, something to get my game to the next level. So when you're doing these online lessons, a couple things are required. You've got to shoot two different types of video, one down the target line from behind you, and another one from face on. That way the instructor coach can get a great view of what's going on and the positions of your swing. They also want some other information. James asked for information about my handicap, distances I hit various clubs, any type of chronic problem that will creep in with my swing or a shot shape that I'm trying to work on. Anything like that that can be helpful in diagnosing any flaws or any fixes. So as you can see, here's the face-on angle. This is in my backyard driving range. If you get a chance to watch that video, go ahead and give it a look. And coming up here is my down the target line. And I know the swing's not perfect, and we're going to hear what James has to say. I edited his video to save you guys a little bit of time and boredom, but it should give you a nice little synopsis and a little taste of what he has to offer. I'm actually quite impressed, and I plan on having some more lessons from him in the future.
Hi Mark, welcome to your first online lesson, mate. Thank you so much for allowing me to help you with your game. It really does mean the world to me that people do send these videos in and I can help you with it. Well done on winning a couple of comps as well. Even if it is just a midweek competition, anything that builds confidence is a massive achievement, and it's a great thing to do, so congratulations on that. Unlucky on missing your PAT test. I remember when I did mine, it's one of the most stressful things in the world, but I'm sure you get, if it's the same over here, over there as it is over here, you get as many chances as you want at it. So practice, work on the things that we're going to look at in this video, and then go again, and I'm sure you'll be fine. I don't think you missed it by much, did you? Great golf, by the way, as well. Great handicap. Lower than what I ever got to be fair, as well. Having looked at it, there's definitely some things that we can work on. I've done the video already. I would like to apologise off the bat because I've called you John in it for the first. I've said hi, John. My previous lesson was John, so I was just in a different place there, and I apologise for that. Okay, John, so having read through your email, obviously you can play, you're a good player, good luck with your PAT test next time you play. The first thing we're going to look at is you potentially leaving some distance on the table, because that can definitely help you. I always like to start these videos with positives, mate, because there's loads of them going on here. I absolutely love that club face angle here. I love that it matches your spine angle. I think that's a great takeaway. There are things in the takeaway we're going to look at, but I'll leave that for a second. I also love how the shaft dissects your right forearm there. I think that's brilliant. I've just missed that with the line, but fantastic positioning. And then I also love how when you get to the top here, your shoulders mimicking, sorry, your left arm is mimicking your shoulder line, which looks great. The club's on a nice kind of plane there. It's pointing in a nice direction. Now, as you said, I'm going to clear all those off. And as you said, it is a little bit long. It's very John Daly-esque, actually, with the wrist movements. And if we go over to the right-hand side of the screen, you can see that again there. Again, really love the width of this takeaway here. That's fantastic. Now, this video isn't just to blow smoke up this golf swing, because like you said, there are things that can help and we can improve on. And one of those is, so let me go back to the start of these. One of those is, mate, the separation between upper and lower body, and you can see that really well on both these videos, and that's definitely costing you a little bit of yardage. So we're actually going to start with the address position on the right hand side of the screen, which is your face on, and I'm going to put a rectangle over your hips. In fact, we'll go, that matches your jeans too much, we'll go red over your hips there, and another one over your upper body there, okay? And as we go away, so you start the takeaway, note how hips and shoulders move in the same fashion. There's no disassociation, there's no timing difference there. So as your left arm, this is a great point to look at, as your left arm is parallel to the ground, look at the amount that your hips have rotated already there. Now for me, when your left arm is parallel to the ground, that's almost your trigger to then allow your hips to start moving. And you'll see it really well on the left hand side of the screen as well. So as we turn all the way back, even when that's a great point as well, even when the club's parallel to the ground, look how much the hips have moved. I can see now your kind of left pelvis on the down the line swing. Ideally here, and I will show you a drill for this when we get in kind of in the office, I'd love to see the hips a little bit more stationary there, not quite moved. That would create a little bit more torque between the shoulders and the hips there, and that would help you get a little bit more club head speed. That's something which I think can definitely help. I think you'll notice a difference straight away in not only the power you can create, but also how much potential load you can get on there. So if I clear away all these lines here, you can see how actually you look very, very heavily on this side, don't you? You look very heavily on your trail side. That's because your hips have gone so early. So if you can delay that a little bit, your shoulders still want to go at the same time, obviously, because they start the takeaway. But if we can delay the hips a little bit, you'll create that bit of a disassociation. You'll create that little bit more stretch. I hate calling it an X factor stretch because that's not really what it is, but that's kind of the terminology a lot of people do use on it. And then what will happen is as you start the downswing, rather than top of the backswing there. So rather than the hips being so outset there, they'll actually be a little bit more closed, and you start the downswing with those hips, then followed by the shoulders, then followed by the arms, then followed by the release of the club. That will actually in turn, it's amazing how all these things tie in, that will in turn get this club face in a better position, because again, if we clear these lines off, we spoke about how good the club face was on the way back, and in fact, let me show you that. So the club face on the way back, it was one of the first things I noticed. It's almost perfect. It's in a great position. So we'll put a red line, in fact no, we'll put a blue line on there for you to see that, and that's your spine angle on the way back, so they're running parallel to each other. Great. Same position on the way down. Spine angle's great, it hasn't changed much, you're rotating around that nicely, but now we see that club face wide open. So this should help with that as well, because you'll generate a better release because you're working the hips better and the upper body better. They're two things which I think in unison will help you a lot. One other thing I've noticed, this doesn't worry me as much, is just that elbow at the top of the backswing there. I think potentially by just tucking that in a little bit more, getting a little bit more compact, maybe we can hit more consistent golf shots. I always see that when an elbow's out there kind of trailing a little bit, it can make it difficult to... It depends entirely on your game and how you time things. I've read through your email quite a lot, and I think you can play, and you can play to probably a better level than me. So I don't want to stand here and pick fault at something which just looks like it may fall apart at places. I'm looking at the way that club face has been released, and you can see it in the blue circle now. It's very flipped, isn't it? And you did mention that in the email. Just trying to control that club face a little bit more rather than trying to manipulate it could possibly help that. And I think tying the things we've done into and a right elbow that's set a little bit more and a bit more tucked in. I'll show you a quick drill for that as well in a second. All in all, mate, I think there's some fantastic things going on there. I don't think you'll struggle with your PA test moving forward. A couple of things which we might look at is just that release a little bit like we said. I'd like to see the club more on that line there rather than released early. Something to work in the future maybe, so let me know if you want to have a look at that once we can get longer shots in there and more consistent strikes in there and things like that. I never want to throw too much at you on the first go. Let's have a look at some drills we can do now, mate. But some very, very good stuff in there. I think you can be proud of that golf swing as definitely as a starting point, if not a really good kind of point to build on. Is disassociation between upper body and lower body. So you can see, you don't need to see my face really, it's ugly anyway. When I take the club away, I want to feel as though the shoulders go, and look how stable my hips are here, especially the trail hip there. It doesn't really go until the club or the arm gets to parallel to the ground, then it can go, and you see how much more torque I can create there. So really focus on keeping those hips nice and still, rotating the shoulders, look how still those hips are there. That's really going to help me to A, disassociate, and B, create a little bit more speed and power. But then if you do practice with someone, this is a really good drill where someone can help you. So all they're going to do is hold your hip in place as you take the club away, so you get that feeling of working the shoulders away as the hips stay stable. That's a really good drill that can help you. It's such a simple one as well. I know sometimes the feeling can be difficult to grasp, but for me it's one that I worked on myself, and it's actually not as hard as maybe some other feelings. Mark, really good stuff, mate. I hope that's helped you. I always try and keep these kind of short and to the point so you can re-watch them at the driving range and things like that. If you have any questions at all, mate, feel free, ping me an email. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you want to continue these, by all means, just ping me a message and we'll keep doing something similar. Good luck, mate. Really, really good stuff. Thanks a lot for that, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
All right, guys. So that was my lesson with James Robinson. Right now, I'm back out at the range trying to work those changes into my swing. Overall, I thought James was phenomenal. Really liked what he had to say. He had some similarities to some in-person coaching that I've had as far as what to do and what to change. But the neat thing about it is he's got some new ideals and new feels into it for me. So it should be helpful going down in my golf future here. So I'll probably follow up with James again in another month or so, send him some more videos, and hopefully get my swing where it needs to be and play some better golf. Recommend him, definitely. He was phenomenal. The price is very reasonable, and I think he's given a quality lesson there. I think the guy knows what he's talking about. I know enough to be dangerous, but I wouldn't say I'm to James's standard on knowledge. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and always like and subscribe the video. And thanks for your time. Have a good one, guys. Bye.